How you end can be just as important as how you begin a job interview, and how you end can be actually what seals the deal and lands you the job. And so I am going to offer you 5 of the best ways to end a job interview with examples. And if you stay until the end, after the end, the bonus part, I have a bonus tip for you that you won't want to miss. When they say, do you have any questions for us or for me at the end of the interview, make sure you have some. Have at least 2. I have a whole video on that topic with lots of examples, which I will link to over here, so I'm not going to go into that right now. But it is very important that you practice. You choose some in advance, you practice them, and you've got them handy. The other thing that you might want to do is have a pen and paper with you, because you might come up with a question that you have during the interview that you want to ask at the end. And it's perfectly okay to have something to write on. So make sure you've got that, because you must have questions to ask at the end of the interview. Second thing is to end with a strong closing statement. And that includes a thank you. What do I mean by strong? I mean clear, I mean confident, and I mean direct. Here's an example. Thank you very much for your energy and your time today. Given what I've researched about your company and how the interview has gone today, I want to make it very clear that I want to work for you. You are my first choice. And the second example, thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed for this role today. I've really enjoyed our time together. And from what I've learned, I truly believe that I can add value to your team and help you reach the goals that you've set out. I would love the opportunity to take this to the next step. Those are both strong closing statements. They are thanking the people. They are stating again that you really want the job and that you've been listening. The third thing that you don't actually do at the end of the interview, but that will help you finish strong, is to practice those end statements, those closing statements. Make sure that you practice some version of that. You can add to it as you've listened and been through the interview. You might even name some of the goals that they've set out, but make sure that you've got the basic part of it practiced so that it can flow out of you confidently at the end. And again, reiterate that you want to work for them. The fourth thing to do is to remember that you are on in an interview, if it is an in-person interview, from the minute you walk into that building until the minute you exit the building. If it is a virtual interview, you are on from the minute you log in till the minute you log off, and you want to make sure your camera is off and you are truly logged out before you or call out to someone about how the interview went, right? Make sure that everything is shut off before you do that. You need to be comporting yourself as if everyone that you encounter in that building is someone who may be on the team that you're interviewing for, or maybe reporting back to the people that just interviewed you or are about to interview you. So make sure that you are on from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. The fifth thing is to remember your follow-up thank you email. You can do that really quickly, and you should do that almost immediately, like within the same day. And if you don't do an email, you can do a handwritten note, or you could even do both, get wild. The handwritten note is unusual, and it takes longer to get there, especially if you are in a country where a postal system is slow. A handwritten is nice. Do the email one anyway also, and send that note in. The handwritten one will get there a few days later. That's okay, and it's actually extra nice. So make sure you follow up with a thank you. If you liked this video, I would be grateful if you hit that like button, if you subscribed if you haven't already, because it helps me to get my information out there with the YouTube algorithm gremlins. I am going to link over here to some videos for you, one on questions to ask at the end of the interview, and if you want to stay until the end, I have one more bonus tip for you. Thank you for staying to the end after the end. I recently heard a most excellent interviewee question for you to ask at the end of an interview, and I wanted to share it with you because just the way it was phrased was so brilliant, and I'm actually going to read it because I want to make sure I have it right. Okay, so here it is. The person asks, do you have any questions for me, or do you have any questions for us. And you say, yes, imagine me in this role. What would you want me to achieve or accomplish in the very first 6 months of this job? Now, this asks them, first of all, to imagine you in that role, which is brilliant. Okay, they're picturing you in that role doing the job. And then it gives the interviewer an opportunity to set some goals out for you that you might start thinking about. And if you listen carefully, you can, while you're being interviewed, you can weave some of these into your closing statement. I have a closing statement example where I may have woven some things in. Okay, so here you go. Thank you very much for your time today. Given what I've heard and read about this company and the conversation that we've had today, I want you to know that I would be ready to jump in to achieving the goals that you have outlined. And then I would name some of those. And I can start on Tuesday. I'm in if you'll have me. Now, that's pretty bold. That's pretty gutsy, right? Just saying I'm there, hire me, basically. And it's not a bad strategy. If you're doing it in a non-pushy way, you're doing it with a little humor, you're doing it in a way that, they may still say, we'd love to have you. We can't make the decision right this second. We have to take it back to our team, blah, 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 blah. They might say something like that. Or they might say, okay, let's start you on Tuesday. You just never know. So you could, in your closing statement, state, as I mentioned before, that you want the job still. And you could actually ask for the job. Can I have this job? Will you hire me? And the way I said it was a little more subtle, I think. Well, maybe not. But what it does is they know that you did your research when you have an ending statement like that, that weaves in the goals, okay? They know that you've listened well during the interview. They know you're motivated, and they know that you really want to work for them. So there's no downside to that, I think. That was one more bonus. I think that was more than one bonus. I'm just in that giving kind of mood today. I am working for your success. That's what I do here on the Careers by Jen channel. Friends, let me know how your next interview goes and what you did to close the deal. And until next time, take good care.